guys, today I'm going to do a review of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I'm a bit late to this game. Most people read this on the day it came out, reviewed it straight away. I mean, all that big influx in my subscriptions of people talking about this have passed. So hopefully you've still clicked on this even though you've seen everyone else's reviews. But I'm going to review it and also kind of discuss my thoughts about it being a play as well, not just the plot. I might have a spoilery section in this, but I will say when I'm going to. And when I go spoilery, I'm going to put the book down. So if you're like skimming through, that's the spoilery bit. But I'll probably hold it for the rest of the time. So this will have very mild spoilers. If you don't want to know anything like I didn't, just don't watch this at all. But I will give you a brief plot summary. So this is obviously based on an original news story by J.K. Rowling, but it's written by Jack Thorne, which a lot of people don't seem to understand. They're like, oh, J.K. Rowling wrote the script. It's like, nope. She just gave them an idea, like, oh, there's an idea, and they went with it. She obviously approved it and stuff, but it's not her writing, so I just want to say that first. I feel I'm going to rant a lot in this. But this is all based around 19 years later. It basically picks up where Deathly Hallows left off. It even starts at platform 9 3/4. It's great. It's off. This is all about Albus Potter and his friend Scorpius Malfoy going on some adventures, and the basic premise, which is a little spoiler, they're trying to save Cedric Diggory because Albus and Harry don't really have the best relationship, and Amos Diggory basically goes to Harry like, you killed my son and everything. It's really horrible. And Albus kind of wants to prove himself to his dad and like do something that he couldn't. And so they try and save Cedric Diggory, and lots of interesting things happen from there that I won't say until the spoilery section. But I really enjoyed this. I can totally understand all the people that said it's fan-fiction-y, because the plot just slowly gets wackier and wackier. For the first half, I just really enjoyed it. I just thought it was really magical, and in the second half I was kind of like, this is getting crazy. I mean, it was crazy in the first half too, but it gets really crazy after that. When I first started reading this, I got really emotional because I was kind of putting off reading it because I was scared of the hype. I was scared about people who'd been hating it. I didn't want to hate it, and I was finishing Vicious by V.E. Schwab first, so I was like, no, I'm not going to read it until that's finished, which wasn't until like the second week of August, so I'm quite late to all this. But when I opened it and it was Harry, Ron and Hermione talking to each other and being really cute, I got really teary because I was like, oh my god, this is more Harry Potter. This is just like a dream come true, because I don't read fan fiction and stuff normally, like I don't read it online, so it was a really strange experience to see their names written down and they were saying things I haven't seen before. My opinion on this is that it is crazy, but it is basically for that purpose. I think the whole play is just nostalgia the whole way through. If you're like new to Harry Potter, you probably wouldn't enjoy this at all, but for me it was kind of just a best bits moment of the 7 books. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything in this section, but they just revisit lots of people and places that's made possible through a little plot point, which was quite cool. And they just revisit all these people and places that you know from the original stories, and it's just kind of like, oh, that's really nice. And it's also, because it's obviously a play with new actors and kind of a new way of performing the characters that we're not used to after the film adaptations, it's kind of like, it's nice that the characters get to be on the stage and you get to see kind of like a new version of them in the play, and they get to be in it even though they're not really a main part of the storyline. And that's all I have to really say in the non-spoilery part of this review. The rest of it I want to talk about specific moments that I liked or disliked. So I'm going to put the book down and I'll pick it back up when I talk at the end. So if you want to skip to there, then just look at the little bottom bar. Okay, for the spoilery bits, I'm just probably going to waffle and talk about things that I liked and disliked. I haven't planned this review, so it won't have a great structure. But the first thing that pops to mind that was my least favourite thing, because overall, like I said, I found this really positive. It was like a best bits moment. I really enjoyed it. But I really disliked the point, Amy sat in the corner, this might be a spoiler for her, but she said it's okay, is Voldemort having a kid. I was just like, hold on. Like, J.K. Rowling has said that he can't love because he was conceived under a love potion. And he's just meant to be like this soulless, serpenty man. And the mental image of him getting it on Bellatrix Lestrange is just bizarre and wrong. Like, that just wouldn't happen. It just really, if it was like she was somehow his kid but without the physical, you know, they had a kid, I could kind of see that, like if it was somehow a potion baby or something. But the fact it was just kind of like, oh yeah, you know, Bellatrix's husband, or did she even have a husband? Like, oh yeah, you know, they were fine with it, they just wanted Voldemort to have a baby, like, whatever. Like, when was Bellatrix pregnant? Like, she was fighting and we were in Malfoy Manor and it said like the baby was either conceived or something in Malfoy Manor right before the Battle of Hogwarts. It just makes zero sense. And I really, really don't like it, because I don't even think Voldemort would want a kid. He wouldn't want an heir. He'd just want to be ruling himself. Like, if he wanted an heir to his empire or whatever, he'd just pick his favourite Death Eater. Like, I don't think he'd want a kid anyway. Ooh, that bit kind of ruined it. It brought it down like a star, in my opinion, a star rating, because it just doesn't make sense to everything else. I mean, the rest of it, people have talked about characters being out of character, like Harry saying to Albus he wished he wasn't his son. Everyone's really on Harry's case, like he would never be a horrible parent, but Albus is a bit of a dick. And Albus says to him, I wish you weren't my dad. And then Harry reacts by saying, well, sometimes I wish you weren't my son. He wasn't just being horrible and like saying it out of nowhere. It was because he was like having an argument with Albus. And he was just frustrated that Albus is so difficult. And so I was like on Harry's side for that. I was just kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's like, he's not as bad as everyone's making out. You know, I don't think Harry was a bad parent. He wasn't a bad parent to James or Lily. It's just, and he wasn't a bad parent to Albus. He was doing really nice things. Albus was just like going through the terrible teens and struggling to figure out who he was, because he was a Slytherin and everyone else he knows basically is a Gryffindor. So he just felt like an outcast, and obviously being like Harry's son was a big weight on his shoulders, kind of like Ron has with being like, you know, Weasley brother and having all this like all his brothers being really successful. Albus just kind of had a bit of that, and I really like that Albus was a bit grumpy and dislikable, because, you know, Harry's always been like so caring and kind, and he has his moments, but overall he's just like this cute little perfect person throughout the books, and Albus is just a bit of a knob and does things that aren't very nice, but I quite like that because that's his like Slytherin side. Not that Slytherins are horrible, but you know, he's very focused on himself and he doesn't always say the nicest things, and I like that he wasn't very likeable. Whereas Scorpius, on the other hand, was just gorgeous. He was just such a sweet boy. He was like a weird cross between Hermione and Ron. He was kind of all like nervous and stuff like Ron, but then he was also really studious like Hermione, which was kind of weird, but I like that it kind of made sense that he had a lot of like Malfoy's wives traits, but also he had a little bit of Malfoy in that he kind of wanted to live up to his father and his father's expectations. And I thought Scorpius was a great character. He was probably my favourite part of the whole play. I think he's great, and I really like the idea that he fancied Rose Weasley. Like, imagine Weasley and a Malfoy getting married, that would be great. Yeah, the plot with the Time Turner did kind of get a little bit crazy. At first I was like, I'm on board with this. I don't see why it's Cedric specifically they want to save. Like, out of all the people that die in the Battle of Hogwarts, why Cedric? I just found that a bit strange. I felt like there was people that Albus would be more inclined to save, like maybe Tonks and Lupin, because of a lot of people mentioned Teddy Lupin isn't in this, and he's Harry's godson, so I feel like Albus would know Teddy quite well, and wouldn't he want to save like his parents? Or there's just lots of people who die in the Battle of Hogwarts. I find it really weird that he chooses Cedric. I know it's because of Amos Diggory and everything, but they could have just took him out. It was a little bit of a strange plot, and I was fine with the Time Turner, but by the end it got a little bit mad when they were back at Godric's Hollow, and it was strange. But I do think one of my favourite moments was the ending. It really made me cry, actually, which I didn't think it would, because I haven't cried at a book for a long time, but Harry Potter gets to me in a different way. When Harry has to watch his parents get killed, that really made me cry. Like, I think that's going to be horrible on stage. I think even the stage direction is like, Harry screams and the stage is filled with grief. It's like, oh my god, so horrible, like this horrible memory he kind of has, and now, you know, now he's just properly seen the moment that they died. But as I said, it's kind of a best bits moment, because from Philosopher's Stone you've got... What have you got from Philosopher's Stone? From Philosopher's Stone you've just got all the magic of people making new friends and experiencing Hogwarts for the first time, and you've got the moments of like Hagrid going to the ruins after Voldemort kills Harry's parents, things like that. Chamber of Secrets, they go and chat to Moaning Myrtle and they use Polyjuice Potion. Prisoner of Azkaban, you've got the Time Turner and them visiting Dementors. A lot of it's based around Goblet of Fire. You see pretty much all the trials and some characters like Cedric and Victor Krum, which was nice. Order of the Phoenix, you've got prophecies and people trying to change prophecies. Half-Blood Prince, you've got not much from Half-Blood Prince actually. I suppose a little bit of romance and teen angst. And then you've obviously got Deathly Hallows in that it's all very dramatic and people trying to save the world and everything. So it just felt like a best bits moment, which I like. It's not trying to be a new book, it's just for the stage, for people who love Harry Potter to kind of re-experience all these moments in a new way with a new story that's new, so it's exciting. It'd be a shame if it was just like, oh, we're putting one of the ones you already know on a stage because there wouldn't be any surprises. And I think it'll be a great play. I actually do have tickets for like 2017. I'm really excited to go see it. By then I'll probably have forgotten a lot of the plot, which will be nice because then I'll be able to re-experience it all again, all brand new on the stage. That's the spoilery bit done. Let me know down below, maybe put spoiler warnings and things for people who don't want to be spoiled. Put some spaces below your comment if you're going to talk about spoilery things. But I do want to know people's thoughts on the things that I just mentioned. Because yeah, there's lots to talk about with this play. I can see why everyone's opinions are very mixed, but I don't hate it because I didn't have high expectations. I didn't let myself get hyped for it because I was very wary. I didn't even try and get tickets the first time because I was like, oh, I want to see what people say first. But I do have a few things I just want to say that have kind of been like topical discussion points for this as a play. The first one is people moaning about it being a script. I feel like a lot of people on BookTube aren't doing that. But when I went to buy it in Tesco, the woman who served me was all like, oh, did you know it's a script? Oh, I'd find that really confusing and blah, blah, blah. And I do English literature, so I've read plenty of plays, both Shakespeare, which are quite confusing, and just general plays. I did a whole module on plays last year, so I'm very used to reading scripts. So I can see why some people do find that difficult. But I'm really sick of people saying, I wish it was a book, because that's just not the point. You know, the films and the books and this play are all separate mediums, adapting it in different ways, and I just don't see why people can't let it be independent. Like, why do people want an 8th book, or why do they want it to be a film? It's just a new thing, and it annoys me how people say they wish it was a book, because that's just not the point. The idea was we want a play, so of course they're not going to adapt a screenplay into a book. A lot of people buy plays, you know, I buy Shakespeare. If you read Shakespeare, you read the play, you don't expect someone to turn it into a novel, so it's a bit easier to understand. So that's a little rant I have. The camera just died, so sorry if it completely cut off what I was just saying, but I was flowing, so I don't want to redo it. I'm just going to move on to my next point. So aside from people moaning about it being a script, which is slightly frustrating, I've also been a bit annoyed by mainly Facebook comments when I follow The Cursed Child. So I see pictures and interviews and things like that, and so many comments are moaning about the casting of a black Hermione, and I just find it ridiculous. I don't know if I'm just more open-minded than most people, but why does it matter to everyone so much? Like, it just really annoys me, because in the book description, you know, it says she has brown frizzy hair and big teeth, and like that's pretty much all the description of Hermione you get. So there's no reason that she couldn't be black. It perfectly matches the actress they cast for The Cursed Child. And I just don't, most people are moaning like, oh, but in the film she was white, how can they just suddenly change it, expect us to accept it? And I'm just like, well, the films are completely separate. Like, basically no one involved in the films has anything to do with this apart from J.K. Rowling, and she's fine with it, she loves it. You know, I don't see everyone's problem with it. I can maybe understand if there was a black casting of the Weasleys or Malfoy because they have to have ginger hair or like pale skin and bright white blonde hair. I could maybe see backlash, but even then it's like, you should cast the best actor or actress for the part. Like, appearance shouldn't matter that much. You can alter someone's appearance to look how you want to fit the character. It should be the acting ability that's the most important thing. So I think it's great that the play has tried to put a main character as a person of colour, and I think it's a really good move, and I just wish people would stop moaning about it. If they go see the play and say the actress didn't portray Hermione very well, that's fair enough, that's about her acting ability, but everyone's judging her on appearance just because they prefer Hermione to be white, and that's pointless. There's no reason that she should be white. That's just because people just expect it from books, you know. Unless a book explicitly says a character is black, people tend to assume they're white, which is just wrong. So that's my little rant. I think I'm going to end it there. Let me know your opinions on what I've just said about those 2 points, as well about it being a play and the casting choices. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed this. I think I gave it 3.5 stars because the first half was like 4 stars and the second half was 3. So I'm cutting it in the middle. I do have my problems with it. Like I said, the plot is messy, and some characters seemed a little out of character, but it's set 20 years later. They're going to be different people to when we knew them in the story. Anyway, so overall I really enjoyed it. I can see people's problems, but I think it's a fun read, and you just got to take it for what it is and not expect too much from it. And I'm really excited to see the play, and I hope you guys get to see the play too, or get to read it. I fully expect it will do like a full worldwide tour eventually around the UK and to America, and it'll eventually be a film, probably like Les Mis, in 10 years or something. But anyway, I will end the review there because it's already been too long, and I will see you on the next one. Bye! I just got sorted into Gryffindor. Really?
Yeah.
I got put into Hufflepuff.
I was a Ravenclaw, then I redid it and got Hufflepuff, and now I've redone it and got Gryffindor. I'm a divergent.